Alright guys, I've been wanting to do these videos for a while. I'm going to talk about the basics of pitching. This is going to be the very basics. There's more technical aspects to pitching, but this is directed more towards your 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 year olds. I mean, very basics of mechanics. You'll see me refer to my notes, and I apologize for that. Okay, first thing I want to talk about is addressing the rubber. So we want to address the rubber when pitching out of the stretch, especially at the level of minors, to the right side of your right-handed pitcher, to the left of your left-handed pitcher. The reason being, the ball is more difficult to hit if you see it coming from behind you, as opposed to getting a better look coming across the plate. This will change next year once the boys start having to hold people on. You want to be closer to first base if you have a runner on first base, and that's for pickoff purposes, turn and throw. But for now, we want to be to the arm side. So addressing the rubber, foot's touching it, you're on the ground, but it's touching the rubber, and then we're here, feet and hands come together, we're in an athletic position, feet about shoulder width apart, all right? I use the stretch as a teaching method because it waters everything down, makes mechanics more simple. But at this age, the boys are allowed to pitch out of stretch all the time because there's no stealing. So if they're going to pitch out of stretch, which I'm fine with, then they need to start with their heels in the rubber, toes on the ground, and then it's a simple step. And I don't care if they step slightly back. That's the way I was taught, but I actually like the side step because it gets us into the same position as the stretch and simplifies and can help prevent other mechanical issues. So again, we're talking a side step, turn the right foot, and then we go from there. Okay. Next thing, this is going to sound simple, but it's something that people forget to do of all ages. Focus on the catcher's mitt. That's where we're throwing the ball. So we get the signal, you can break eye contact, but when you are ready to deliver the ball to the plate, I am focused on the catcher's mitt. I've heard some people say, I heard a coach recently say, you're not throwing to the catcher's mitt, you're throwing into that zone. No, you're not. We are trying to throw the ball to the catcher's mitt with precision. So focus on the catcher's mitt. And that means when you start the pitch, and when you're finishing the pitch, stay focused on that catcher's mitt for as long as possible. Okay. Kick and hand separation. I'm going to turn this way to make things a little bit easier for you to see. So we're on the rubber. We've come set. We're ready to pitch. At this point, we're going to have a leg kick. And whether it's coming out of the windup, I'm going to do this out of stretch to keep things simple. When the leg kicks, the knee will separate the hands. The reason I teach that is a lot of people, youth and otherwise, will have a tendency to not break their hands apart quickly enough. And what that can lead to is arm drag. In other words, we're starting to pitch and my arm's down here. So where we want to be properly, knee breaks the hands apart and we're here, which leads me to the next thing. This is our throwing platform, okay? Level, level, hand facing back. We got our glove out front with a slight bend. The next thing is balance. Common mistake made, again, at all levels is leaping forward. So we've started to kick and we want to be balanced all the way through breaking our hands apart and then begin going forward. If you leap forward and don't maintain good balance, what can happen is I'm leaking and now I've rushed myself and this foot has hit the ground and my arm hasn't reached the throwing platform yet. So you're not in the right arm slot. This is going to lead to a lot of mechanical issues and a high likelihood that you won't deliver a strike. All right. The next thing is direction. So direction is just what it sounds like. And when teaching, a lot of times I'll draw a line on the ground. Direction is everything goes straight to the catcher, period. So I'm here, I'm set, I'm looking at my catcher's mitt, my foot, when it lands, should go directly to the catcher's mitt. If I land here or here, high likelihood that my arm's gonna follow. There are exceptions to every rule, and I know sometimes you see guys that pitch that way, and that works for them. But generally speaking, it's gonna lead to mechanical issues, so driving straight towards the catcher's mitt is gonna be the preferred technique. All right, and I touched on this earlier, but I want to bring this back up because this is important. So we talked about hand separation, and we're here in the pitching platform. This can vary. Some players will have slightly higher and slightly lower angles, and that's okay. But I teach level because that's common. That's the common angle. You're going to have most people that need to be in that level area. I don't really change arm angles when I'm teaching unless it's really outrageous and needs to be adjusted, because everyone can vary, and I realize that. But it's very important to get this hands free, and as you start coming forward, to get the arms in that level platform throwing position. All right, maybe the thing that you'll hear me preach the most is front side, okay? So the front side is just as important as the back side. So what I mean by that is when you start driving to the plate, you're here, and I teach, imagine there's a rope between you and the catcher. Grab the rope with your glove side and pull to the catcher. Again, leads to direction, but it leads to stability. And the reason we do that, and I'm going to turn actually this way so you can see, is if I let this front side go down or behind me, which a lot of youth players have a tendency to do, it changes my arm angle. And again, leads to accuracy problems. This isn't just pitching, this is in general. Every time a baseball is thrown, the glove side should come out. We're in a throwing platform, and at that point, with my glove side, I grab the rope and pull. And when I pull, the glove should come to my shoulder. So it's going to look something like this, that I'm here, and I'm delivering the pitch, okay? Again, that's probably the number one thing that I preach to you. Okay. So last thing will be the follow through. So we've done all this stuff. So we have our leg kick, hand separation, we're coming forward, we're in a throwing platform, we've pulled the rope, and now we just have to finish the pitch. So it'll look something similar to this. We're here. Once the pitch is thrown, the glove should be tight to my my glove side shoulder. My back leg will swing all the way through. In full speed, you'll see, and I used to watch my videos 1,000 years ago when I played, my foot actually came much higher than my head, my back foot. So the follow through is very important, because if you don't, it's going to lead to mechanical issues, and ultimately when they get older, velocity issues, because you're not letting your body work fully to deliver the ball to the plate. Last thing, once we delivered the ball, it's go time then, okay? You threw the ball in there, somebody's trying to hit it. You need to be ready to catch the ball. So we've delivered the ball, we've followed through. Sometimes you will, especially if you have a long follow through, lose visibility with the catcher. But it's important that once you do that, to look up and get ready to field the ball. Safety issue, if you stand there and let yourself stay in that follow through position, it's a good way to get hurt. So really important once we deliver the ball to be ready to field the ball. So just to recap, the simple mechanics that I teach, and you'll hear me yelling this, is just this: kick and pull and follow through. I'll give you a little bit more detail through this than that, but that's the simplicity. In game time situations, if a kid's struggling, I don't like to give too much mechanical instruction, so a lot of times you'll hear me just say, kick and pull and follow through.